Sorry about that, chat. It turns out that a certain power company doesn't want me to do art tonight. But that's not gonna stop me because I want to do art. And if they do this constantly, then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, probably. But sorry, I'm not gonna stop for nobody. I wanna do art. And if they don't like it, they can, I don't know, they can go suck on a donut, I guess. The worst thing about it is that no, god dang it. I have to start all over again. That is the most infuriating. That is by far the most infuriating thing about a power outage, especially when you're doing art. The most infuriating thing is that I have to start all over from the beginning. And I can't even recover whatever the hell is it that I lost. Unless, wait a minute. Unless no, there is not. Unfortunate. Yeah, I tried. Well, chat, we're gonna have to start all over from the beginning. Thanks, Luma, you fucking idiots. And it wasn't even like a power outage. It was like a slight power outage. You know, those ones that come back immediately, but they still fuck with your technology. Yeah, those ones. That's a power outage that I had to deal with today. Hopefully this doesn't repeat. If it doesn't, I'll probably have to cancel tonight's art stream, which is gonna be a little unfortunate. Where were we? Oh yeah, that's right. Our reference. Open this one first. Open this one then. Open our reference that we're gonna use. Ah, it's so annoying. I have to do this shit all over from the beginning. Fuck. My god. That is one of the, unfortunately, that is one of the things that we must endure in order to be a digital artist. Power outages fuck with your entire art progress. So yeah, we're live doing Friday Night Art Stream, episode 2. Anyways, let's go back. So, in the case of our body type, this was the body type that we're gonna use. It doesn't matter that much. It doesn't really matter that much because it's still going to be, how should I say? It's still just gonna be a portrait regardless. So there's really no need to focus on the body type, anyways. But we might. Actually, yeah, we might. Maybe I'm gonna lower the face like this. Yeah, you can see the eye sockets. Yeah, we're gonna do it like this. Yeah, and then this. Adjust the lighting. There we go. This was at 50% last time. Yeah, there we go. 50% was the one. And now Remember what we did earlier? We're gonna do that shit all over from the beginning. So circle over here. Let me see. One second, guys. Anyways, sorry, I was responding to a message. Anyways, here's what we're gonna do, chat. So if you don't like, if your circles do not end up the way you want them, and you think that the circles are, how should I say, too small, you can always just adjust them. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, chat. I'm gonna grab this circle right here, and I'm gonna try to match the circle so that I don't want this to look like an oval either. So we're just gonna do that. There we go. That's perfect. A circle like this is absolutely fucking perfect. And then I'm going to do this. Add a line down here. And this line right here, it doesn't, again, it doesn't necessarily, the eyes don't necessarily have to be here where I'm putting them. Wrong line. It's supposed to be this one. The eyes don't have to be specifically here. You can always adjust where you want the eyes, but remember, this is just a guideline as to what we're using currently, of course. Let me get my pen real quick. Again, as I mentioned previously, it's a controversial thing to use these mannequins in the art world, but hey, everybody's using them. You don't have to worry. Again, even professionals use these things, so again, no shame in using these whatsoever. Honestly, I'll be honest with you guys. I rather see people using these mannequins than AI art 100,000 times. Because at the very least, they're still learning something in the end, you know? Let me just delete this line. There we go. All right, it should be fine. Yeah, this should be fine. And then for the neck, I'm gonna add this and this. In the case of the scales for the shoulders, I have a specific brush for that. So yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that that some artists do. Some artists have specific brushes for for a lot of the stuff pretty much. In my case, I use the brush ones. I use the snake brush a lot. Alright, this is perfect. So we already have this. There we go. That's gonna be our base. And then this, we're gonna reduce the opacity. And before something happens, let me save the thing because I don't want to do this shit all over again. There we go. I saved it. So if another power outage happens, like another slight power outage, at the very least I have this and I don't have to worry about anything. So I'm good to go. And now that we have all of this as a base, we can finally do the rest. What was it that I was doing? Oh yeah, I was doing this. I'm gonna place this around here. Gonna make another layer. This is a trick that I use whenever I'm doing this type of stuff. If I see that it's not perfect, oh my god, wait. Holy shit, first try. I didn't even have to make the second layer, you see? But I'm still gonna merge with layer below. These are just little things that you guys can do when it comes to applying them to your art. Always make separate layers and then you merge them once you feel content with the art. Actually, no, you know what? I feel like this thing could be a little tiny bit bigger. But I has the illusion that it's actually a gem, you know, a gem on an accessory. Okay, that's perfect. That's a separate layer, and then we can merge with the layer below because this is going to be the line art that we're going to be working with. And then that's where I am going to make this part. Okay, maybe not that low. Jesus Christ. I'd say maybe this high, yeah. Or you can always just use your regular pen and do it yourself if you're not satisfied with the tools that the program itself gives you. So in my case, I'm gonna try to replicate this, but first I really want the accessories. Like I want these parts first. There we go. That's one. That's two. And that's three. Actually, maybe the third one could be better. All right, there we go. And as for the rest are in the upper part of the circle. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So we're gonna be doing this. In case you guys are wondering, no, she's not a gypsy, okay? There we go. That's one. That's one. Or there are things that can also help you in these type of situations when you need to make something in another side, and that is to use the ruler. This nifty little tool allows you to do something like this. Something along these lines. Sometimes it may not look right on the other side, but you can always adjust. You can always adjust it. And if you need to erase it on both sides, you can always use the transparent layer, grab your regular brush, and do this. See how it erases on the other side? You can always do that. The only thing that needs erasing here is these sharp lines. Is the one that needs out. Because they're way too sharp. There we go. There we go. Now it looks 100 times better. We're ready to work with this finally. And then on each of these, we're gonna do the same thing we did, but on each side. There we go. We finally have the tiara that goes on her head. Save because I don't want to do this shit again. And now that we finally have this, we can finally start adding stuff like the hair and all of that other stuff. Pretty much the basics, if you will. The another thing you guys should know is that you can turn off the ruler whenever you want. You see this thing up here? This thing that says special ruler? Turn that off and then look at this. Because here's the thing. If you turn it on, everything that happens on one side is going to happen in the other. But if you turn it off, boom, look at that, one side. Little tools of the trade, if you will. Little tricks of the tools of the trade. So now that we finally have the tiara, we can finally start drawing the hair. Yeah, we can do that now. The way I made her hair is kind of weird though. Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's doable. So what I'm gonna do for the hair is I'm gonna place it like so. I'm not gonna draw this part because this part is going to be like so. Basically, it's gonna be something like this. But she's still gonna have the rest of the hair, so. Oh, a little bit up here, and then because some part of the hair is going to be coming from over here. And that is where I'm going to be doing this part. Hold on a second. Sometimes when I look at other my characters, the hardest thing to do is sometimes replicate the hair itself. Because I know that some part of the hair, I just noticed it, like this part right here, has a little bump in it. So instead of doing the hair like this, I should have done the hair like this. So I can then add the other part of the hair, like so. But I'm gonna add it like this for now. Because it can be fixed. That's the thing about it. It can actually be fixed. That's just a little bump. Okay, there we go. That's one part. There we go. And this other part, I feel it's a little short compared to the. Yeah, it's too short. It's way too short. So I'm gonna wanna increase the size on that at the very least. Yeah, I want to increase the size on this part of the hair. And this is the part where I finally do this to the hair. So I finally have this part of the hair, as you guys can see. But it's not over yet, because this part. Yeah, there's still more to all of this, pretty much. And this part is a little too short. It could be a bit longer, which is what the whole purpose is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be long ass hair. Okay, there it is. And if I want to add even more hair, I can just do this pretty much. Yeah, there we go. There's the longer hair. I just like to add this part up here so that it shows like a bit of the flow of the hair as well. But yeah, her hair is that big pretty much. The more hair, the better. There we go. We added more hair. And we cannot forget about the earrings. That is very important. All right, they're long as her neck. Hold on. This one is a little tricky though. The other thing I can usually do, if you like something a lot, you can always copy it as well. Pick up the lasso tool, pick everything that you want to copy, control copy paste, and it's going to create it in another layer. Deselect it, transform, horizontal. There you go. You have it on the other layer now. You don't have to worry too much about it. But in this case, I like to move this with the arrow so that I have an idea of how exactly that those earrings are going to look. And before I place them on the lower layer, before I do that, I'm going to erase some of the parts that are in the current layer, because you don't have to worry about deleting the layer below because you're doing it in another layer, so you're fine. And now once you have everything settled, you delete some of the lines that you don't like, you pretty much adjust everything. Once you have all of that, you can finally merge it with the layer below. Part of the artwork, there we go. So save. And we can't forget about the necklace that she has either. Which is a very cool looking necklace that I did. Holy shit. Although I feel like I can improve on it, yeah. But the necklace is one of the coolest things that I did about this character. Her face is, yeah, this face is alright, honestly. Or if you need to use the ruler again, turn on the ruler. Maybe a little inconsistent sometimes, so you don't have to worry about that. I like to do it without the ruler so that I can actually train on how I'm drawing faces and stuff. All right, let me see how it looks so far without the lines on the back. The layers on the face could be better, in my opinion. Okay, this is perfect now. Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. I mean, it passed a little bit here, but that's fine. You can always fix it carefully with the eraser. I said carefully, my god. There we go, barely noticeable. And now we do the necklace. Which again, one of the coolest things that I've ever done for this character was the goddamn necklace. Again, if you have problems drawing the character, although there is one thing that I often like to do a lot, which is to copy the same exact layer, right? Delete literally all of it, like every single line in this layer. I delete it. Let me turn the one on the bottom first. Boom, you didn't lose anything. The reason why I like doing this is just so I can get the ruler itself, like so. Because now I can do shit like this. Yeah, I can have the necklace pretty much, but as you guys can see, it is sometimes inconsistent. So in this case, we do not need the double layer with the we don't need the layer with the ruler on it. So we're gonna have to brute force our way on it. Turn this off. Still gonna do it in another layer though. You know what'd be really, 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 really funny, chat? Imagine if I were to be making this artwork, right? Put it on Twitter. Someone says on the community notes that it was made by AI, and then I'm like, motherfucker, I dare you to sit to 3 hours of this stream and see the whole process just to convince you it wasn't AI. Would somebody be wild enough to do that? I wonder. The necklace is one of the hardest things to do ever. In art, some of the hardest things to do is literally accessories, especially when it comes to necklaces. Because you gotta connect everything like so. And you just can't fuck it up. Still a little too short. It needs to be a little longer. Since it's in another layer, I can always do this instead. Okay, maybe there we go. Hey. And now okay, there's the artwork. Although I still feel like the it could have been bigger. Actually, you know what? I got an idea. There we go. This is adequate. This area though, this area down here, I could fix it a little. So let me just do that. And since it's in another layer, you don't have to worry about anything. So this part that you see on the chin, we can always just erase it like so. There we go. Oh, it still looks a little whack here in the lines. Eventually you'll be able to fix them if you make more lines, or if you're one of those people that like to play with the volume of the lines, you can always just adjust them later. Then in these same lines, I like to add these lines sometimes so that they show the part of the neck. These ones right here. You can keep playing music. I don't mind. All right, so we have that. We finally have this. Now we have to make the sun pattern. Keep in mind, we're still in the same layer. We're still not gonna go to the other layers yet. If you feel like you misplaced this, don't worry. There's always the lasso tool. Lasso tool transform, and you can move it everywhere you want. There we go. And my artwork usually has this area, which is supposed to be like a sun. What I usually like to do for these ones is I like to use these lines. Like to do that. So there is that part of the artwork, and then I like to do like a little swirl. Let me show you guys what I like to do sometimes. I feel like the brush is too big. Actually, no, this brush is perfect. Is that really the? Oh yeah, that is the brush size that I'm using. Okay, it's like an S that what I do. I do this. There we go. This is what I usually like to do for the sun in this artwork. This is what I do. And then on the very bottom, I draw two circles. And then for the rest of the artwork, which is what is around the necklace, I do this. And then the other ones, hello Sue. And that is how I made her necklace. Just like that. I could add more stuff to it, but I decided not to. I think the necklace is already perfect as it is. And keep in mind, you don't have to worry about this overlapping with with the other layer because we're still in the necklace layer. So you have nothing to worry about this overlapping in the hair or anything. So you're perfectly fine. If it overlaps with the hair, then you know what you can do is pretty much this. See that? Overlaps with some of the skin. There you go. That is the necklace done. That is the necklace. And we finally merged the layers below. And of course, can't forget about the outfit itself either. Which is going to be this part right here. This is where I have to turn on the ruler. to some extent. Again, it doesn't necessarily has to be the same, you know? But yeah. And then this part right here, I gotta make the shoulders now. Oh shit, I turned it off. Never mind. As you can see, it still overlaps. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab this entire layer and copy it. Turn off the one below. And then everything that this layer has, delete it. Literally every single thing. Every single thing. You don't need it twice. And now on the upper layer, I can finally draw the arms. Because the ruler is still on. I can follow the line. And there we go, chat. We have the entirety of the artwork almost done. We're only missing the colors and we're missing some of the other stuff as well. But we have almost every single part of the artwork done. So we're almost, you could say we're almost there, chat. Now that we have this, now that we finally have all of this, I'm gonna merge these below. And of course, we are also missing, we're also missing the cleavage. And there it is. There we go. There we go. All right, chat. We have the artwork now. We finally have the line art. What do you guys think? Now that we finally have the line art, the one thing we're going to do now, we're going to add colors to it. But as I said, we're going to do a different folder for the mouth, and we're going to do a different folder for the eye as well. But wait, I almost forgot. There's one more thing we're missing, chat. One more thing. One thing that, well, besides this, of course. There's one more thing that we're missing, chat. Just one more thing. Wait. Oh, right. Whenever you see gaps like these, always try your best to close them, because then you will not be able to apply some color into your artwork, and it's just gonna bleed all over the place, and you do not want that at all. There we go, chat. Because now when I go ahead and I select it with the magic wand, there we go. So you're probably wondering, why the hell am I selecting the magic wand? I'm gonna have another layer here and I'm gonna name it scales, because we are gonna apply a scale layer. If I can find them, there it is. I need this brush to be bigger. There we go. What I usually do is I like to do this. And then I select a soft brush. Always make sure it's the soft one because that will allow me to get an effect like so. There we go, chat. We got her shoulders, which are snake shoulders. Although the one on the left, yeah, this one could have more scales. Well, if you guys like scaly woman, then here's your first scaly for the night. There we go, chat. We got the scales now. Just like that. And now we're gonna proceed to one of my favorite things to do, and that will be the line art. Well, not we already have the line art, which is this right here. This is the line art. Now we're gonna proceed to one of my favorite areas in art, coloring. Let me make sure that my audio is all right. I don't want to make. I don't want. All right, my audio is fine. So, in the case of coloring, what I usually like to do is I select everything outside the layer. Literally everything outside. Everything but the line art. There is a reason for that. The reason why I select everything but the line art is because I can wait. Something's wrong here. Wait a minute. Something's wrong here. Wait a minute. Something's wrong with the line art. If you're missing like little spots like these, do not worry. You can always delete them. But you gotta be extra careful if you already merged that into the layer. So make sure it doesn't look that noticeable when you're deleting stuff. Like so. There we go. All right, now it's looking good. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So you grab the line art and you're gonna select the magic wand tool. You select everything, literally everything outside the artwork. Why do you select everything outside the artwork? And remember, all of these gaps you see on your art, close them. Every single time, try your best to close them in any way, in any possible way. Let's see. What a technique that I can use to close this one specifically, I can just do this. I always stick in the line so that, yeah. And it should be able to close though. Let me see if it works. Okay, it definitely worked. Perfect. So you select everything on the line art outside, and then you're gonna click Control Shift I to select everything in, right? You're gonna go to your grayscale layer, select any color that is gray, and boom, there we go. This chat, all of this you see is the area where you're going to color. All of this. And then if you need to make any selections, for example, here, I already got the reference. thankfully enough. Let's say I want a skin layer. Hey, I want a skin layer. I make a skin layer, go to grayscale, select all of the grayscale. Boom, easy. There's my skin layer. Now we finally have the skin layer. Oh, what's that? I need a hair layer. No problem. Make another one called hair, but this time we're going to line art. And once you are in line art, what you're going to do is you're going to grab the magic one and select every single part of the hair. Literally every single part. Do not leave any part behind of the hair. Yes, even these ones. And if you have a bad feeling that it's gonna leave some of the areas like not colored, you can always use expand selected area, expand the selection to 1, well, 2 just in case. And then on hair, boom, there we go. There's my hair layer. We finally got our hair layer now. Look at that. There is one part that I did miss though. So I am going to go back to line art. Remember, always select shift as well so that you do not miss any part. Expand selected area by 3. And then on the hair layer, there we go. The only parts that are missing on the hair layer, nothing's missing actually. Yeah, everything's fine. So we finally have our hair. We finally have our skin. And we finally have everything else that we're gonna add to the. We finally have everything else that we're gonna add to the layer itself. Let's say for example, I need more colors, more color things. I'm gonna name this one outfit. Again, you grab the colors you need, and you're always gonna go to line art, and you're going to select the magic ones so that your job is a bit easier. Expand selected area by 3. And there we go. You got your layer fully colored. You didn't even have to lift a finger. Then here, another one. We're going to call this one gem. As you can see, on and off on the outfit, that is the outfit layer. Back to the line art, select this, select this, and selected area by 3, since this is a bit more, this is a bigger artwork than what I usually do. Grab the color you want. It's that easy, chat. It's literally that easy to draw. It's literally that easy to color, I mean. And remember, we're still not even in the part where we're gonna make the eye layer or the mouth layer yet. That's gonna be a whole different beast that you guys are gonna see soon. You guys will see why. And then I'm gonna get a gold layer. Name this one gold. Go to my reference. And keep in mind, you can add whatever other color you want to the artwork. Doesn't necessarily have to be the ones that I'm choosing currently. Grab all of this, all of the accessories. The earrings and all of this, which is the necklace. Every single nook and cranny that you guys see, you want to select that with the magic wand. And then once you do that, I'm going to expand the selected area by 3, same as always. And there we go. Look at that. All of the areas are now painted in gold. So now that we have everything pretty much, you're probably wondering, how the hell are you gonna do the mouth and the eye? Well, that's easy. As I stated earlier, we're gonna do it in a separate layer. But there is one problem though, and that is in the case of the line art. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a folder, and inside folder we're gonna make another layer, and we're gonna apply everything that we've learned. Chat, I have a question. What is the thing you guys want to do? You guys want to do the eyes or you guys want to do the mouth? Because I think personally, we should do the eye first. This is the easiest thing to do right now. The way that I did the eye here is very weird, but I'm gonna zoom in on the eye that I did last time, and we're gonna grab these instructions that we did last time. How many layers is the amount that I use for the eye? Probably a lot. And the eyes are going to be blue this time. Cannot be this blue. Cannot be this bright blue that you guys are seeing. Has to be like a darkish blue. Not too dark, not too bright. Just like I would say like a navy blue at most, yeah. So I'm just gonna do my eye. Like so. I'm gonna try to replicate the eye exactly how I did it the first time so that you guys can see exactly what I'm trying to do. So the eye, I did like this the first time. Okay, this was how I did the eye last time. Literally like this. And this is the outline of the eye, mind you. This is how I did the eye last time. For her, at least. And then I'm gonna delete this part of the eyes. There we go. And now we proceed to do the same exact thing. We're gonna name this eye line art. Add another layer. There's gonna be our color layer. I got a better idea. We're gonna select this exact same color and we're gonna find something. Base color. What we're gonna do with this color is we're gonna find a color that looks bluish on hue saturation. Something that looks bluish. Ah, that one's perfect. Yeah, this one's perfect. That's literally blue. That was 35. Multiply layer and shade for a darker color or gradient. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab this color right here. That's a shadow one, right? No, that's multiply. Multiply. And just to be sure, we're gonna add it to a clipping mask on the color below. Okay, tonal correction, hue saturation. That should be negative. That should be 30, negative 35. Yep, definitely negative 35. See the difference? Yeah, it's definitely negative 35. Negative 35 on that layer. And then we have to, on the multiply layer, add a darker gradient and the pupil, which we're gonna do right now. We're gonna use the darker one. We're gonna use the darker color. And we're gonna add the pupil and stuff. Oh, that looks cool now that I think about it. Yeah. It looks hella cool. Whoa. Okay, that actually looks cool. I'm not gonna lie. Tonal correction, hue saturation, negative 35. Look at this. See? Purple, blue. This is the blue one, by the way. Wait, I just realized something. We gotta do this with the purple color so that it doesn't interfere with the other one. Something's wrong with the color black. Hold on. Oh, the opacity. Oh my god, that sucks. Okay. It's okay, crisis averted. It was just an opacity error. But on this one, on the multiply layer, we used the darker violet. Okay, let me do this first. Hold on a second. Let me adjust the eyeline art first and foremost. There we go. And now we go back to the multiply. We have that. Is it still blue? Oh yeah, it's still blue, but this is another layer. This is now we go to hue saturation, and now we click on -35. And now everything looks blue. There we go. There we go. All right, what's next? Add add a layer. Okay. Add layer and shade a gradient from the bottom and add some details. I can do that. So add, that means to grab one of these colors. I'm gonna grab this one. And I'm gonna do it on the clipping mask. I said I'm gonna do it on the clipping mask. That's not a clipping mask. There it is. Did I put it on an add layer? Oh yeah, I did. I think it's the brightest one that I selected last time. Yeah, it was definitely the brightest one. Shade a gradient from the bottom of and add some details. I don't exactly remember how is it that I made this eye specifically. I know that I did some voodoo magic on, but I don't remember exactly what it was in order to achieve this effect. I need to see exactly what I did. So let me open the file. This was not the one. Okay. It was the other one. It was the art practice 2. Art practice regular, I think. No, art practice 1. Was it art practice 1? Oh yeah, it was. Okay, is it this one? Yes, it is. Okay, there's the eye white. There's the base color. The layer on multiply. Yeah, the multiply layer is still there. There's the at layer. Oh, because I did use all 3 colors. Okay. Then I also added a multiplier layer with this. I'm not gonna add this little details though that I added on the other one. Also, although I'm still trying to figure out how exactly did I do this without deleting the artwork, like some of the blue. So it says here to use a dark color. Wait, did I use add or did I use overlay? That's my question. Oh, it was an at layer. Okay. So yeah, it was an at layer. The problem is that if you use an at layer, still deletes everything. Unless I do this, and then I do this. Probably that may have been the reason why. Did I use white on the last one? Yeah, I think I did. And now I go back to tonal correction, hue saturation, and go to -35 again. There we go, there's the blue eye. But I still think that her bluish eye could be better, in my opinion. Yeah, it could be brighter in my... Yeah, it definitely could be brighter. Oh, definitely, that looks way better. That fits the style more. That was 30. Okay, so -30. -30 high saturation. Oh, that looks way better. Yeah. And after I did all of that, what is it that I did next? I added another multiply layer, and it's for another effect that I added, which is a brush. Wait, what the hell happened here? There we go. Okay. It's a brush. It's not these ones. Definitely not those ones. Code something. There it is. Multiply layer. Not gonna select a big brush though. Wait, did I do something wrong? Oh, I selected the white. Never mind. Sleeping mask. That's way too. That is way too big. And then I go back to tonal correction, to saturation, negative 35. We choose saturation again. Saturation high and negative 30. And I remember the opacity of this was a little lower. What was it? 35. Okay, so 35 opacity. There we go. And then soft eraser. So I can erase. Wait, that's too big. There we go. Ah, that's perfect. Okay, I love those eyes. Yeah, that's very perfect. Then another add layer. That is for the other stuff. That I'm not gonna add this, to be honest. Neither am I gonna add these lines. I will add the eye whites though. Okay, we got that. And then Right, the eye whites. Let me put a background that better contrasts that. Hold on, because I feel like this can make or break the artwork. Okay, there we go. And now we add wait. I shine. Okay. This is the eye white. Let me take a look how her eye was. Okay, never mind. There we go. And now that we have that, we have to slightly, just slightly, not too much, grab the soft brush and do this. There we go. I'm gonna save this. On the same eye, we have the eye shine, and we're going to add the eyeshadow now. That's the line art. That's the rating I gave it. This is for the whole artwork in general. So I'm gonna select the eye white specifically. Actually, no. Multiply. I'm gonna select the brush layer like I did earlier. Although I should select the eye white though. Yeah, I should. I should also select the line art and all of this other garbage. Oh, that looks cool though. Oh, that looks hella cool. And now that we have this, finally move it here. And on the line art, there's one more thing I forgot. Now we're gonna do the mouth though. The mouth in my opinion is gonna be the hardest thing to do. Personally speaking, yeah. I want to do the juicy lips like I did last time. So where's the eye whites? Okay, there they are. I'll add the other details later. Right now, I'm focusing on the eye and on the mouth because the rest is gonna come after. All right, now that we have this one, we can call this one eye. Then I'm gonna save it, and we're going to be working on the mouth right now. So we're gonna make another folder, and we're gonna call this one mouth. Okay, first thing foremost, gotta make the lips. Let me see how they make the lips. And how did I draw the lips on her? Pretty simple, okay. Okay, let's see. I think I'll try to pull it off. Oh, right. I'm using an eraser, fucking A. Okay, that's one part. Drawing lips in general is hard, bro. Gonna make the juiciest lips you guys will ever see. feel like this part of the lips should be a little lower. Yeah, I should. It definitely should. Okay, we finally got this part. We finally got this part already, which is nice. And then what I have to do is I have to select like this part, I guess. I have to select this color, the salmon-like color. But the thing is, for the lips, I want them to be like red, and these are the red lips. So I really want them to be extremely red. That's the thing. Maybe I can increase the overall. Maybe I can increase the overall. How should I say? I think I can increase the overall saturation, and maybe that'll give me the result I'm looking for. How many layers did I use for that one? I need to check. File open. That was definitely art practice. Turn these off because those are just the images. Alright, which one of you is the lips? I cannot find the lips layer anywhere, and I am a little concerned. There you are. Wow, I used a lot of layers. Okay. So we got the base color, which we already know that the color is going to be here for dancer. That one. The base color. Let me check the layers first and foremost. Wait, was that the line art? Oh, that was the line art. No, the line art stayed the same though. It didn't change for shit. I did all of that in one layer? That's crazy. That's crazy. I actually did that all in one layer? Wow. Oh, that was the upper part of the layer. Oh, wait, but that's in the line art layer though. Damn, okay. I guess I really am built different. But anyways, let's do it with this one. What I want to do is I want these lips to be red. But again, This is as red as we can go with the examples provided. So we gotta start with the soft colors first. It looks like this right now, but it's gonna look red later. That's why I'm not too worried. Although I am smoothing it with this. I can't believe I actually did that on the same layer. Holy shit. And there were regular layers too. They were not like... Yeah, these were regular layers, by the way. And now I go aggressive with the red. Let me see how the colors did it. Hold on. Okay, just a bunch of scribbles. Got it. Let me see the scribbles again. Okay. Then add it down here as well. It didn't add it to the bottom one though. Wait, this was never random? Bullshit! Okay, is it random now? It is not. Oh my god. Okay. I was beginning to wonder why is everything in order? And then it's because of that. It's because it's not randomized. Okay, let's keep trying. The reason why we're doing all of these scribbles, it's because we are going to be getting the blender tool. I think it's gonna be blur or blend. I don't remember. I think it's blur. May have not been that tool. I think the one that I need to use is fingertip. I believe. Definitely not fingertip. Definitely not that one either. Definitely not that one. Because the purpose is that it looks reddish too. That was the whole purpose with this technique, so that other parts of the artwork can look reddish. I think it is actually blur, yeah. It is blur. I'm gonna put the fingertip one just to have a bit more. Just so that the lips can look a bit more reddish. Or maybe it was fingertip the whole time. No, it's not fingertip, it's literally blur. If you use fingertip, it looks like a mess. That's the problem. I think I should add more red lines so that I can blend them. I'm using the wrong one. Oh, that's why, because I was supposed to add them here too. And then I use the blur tool. Yeah, that was the trick. Yeah, it was the blur tool the whole time. It was the blur tool the whole time, chat. Okay, and then I add another layer, that is this one. I drew it in the I made it in the other layer, but that's fine. In the line layer, but that's fine. So that's just the line layer. Yeah, it is the line layer. Okay. Yeah, it is the line layer. Then I blend them too. And then, oh, it's supposed to be at the bottom. Okay. So it's supposed to be down here. Wait, no, that's the blend. It's supposed to be down here where the lips are. Okay, I get it. I get it. And then I blend. Well, I think the a blur tool is better, but no. Do I have the blur one? No, it was the blur one that I needed to have, not the blend one. Okay, I'm assuming now I grab the darker one of the skin color. Did I use a multiply on the previous one? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. But that's more of a grayish color though, so yeah. Yeah, that looks like a grayish color. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the character skin tone. And I am going to the color wheel and choose 1, 2, 3. There we go. Shadow, where is it? Okay, there it is. After I do that, then I go ahead and select the blur tool again. Did I add more to the artwork? Oh yeah, I did. I added a darker red. Then I add a darker red, which is this one. And put it all over the lips. So pretty much, no, not on the shadow layer. Okay, so this, go ahead and do this again. And then it look like that. Although, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's how you did the lips on the bottom part of the lips. You have to do this lightly. Oh, that's how. And now we add the white. Although I do have an idea for the whites though. There we go. Let's see. So it's in the upper part of the lip. Okay, so around here. Oh, right, I'm still in eraser. Then all you have to do is just use the blur tool, same as always. I will add some more whites though. I have another idea. So we have these, and I'm gonna add another layer, but this layer is gonna be blur, Gaussian blur. Very juicy lips, chat. Very juicy lips. And then behind all of this, we're just gonna add more stuff. Teeth. For example, the teeth. Teeth shadow. And we're gonna select the same one that we selected earlier. And exactly where we drew the teeth is where we're gonna draw the teeth shadow. I feel like the lips are too small, so let me just grab all of this. We're gonna make it bigger. Because her lips are supposed to be big. And then after that, I think the nose is all right so far. The eye, on the other hand, has to be close. And I think the eye should also be bigger as well. Although the nose, though, the nose, in my opinion, is the one thing that can be fixed. There has to be a way to make the lips be even more red. Although I think I know there is. Edit to saturation. Yeah, it's the luminosity. It was the luminosity. Okay, we got it. We have the mouth and we have the eyes. And as for the eyes, we cannot use. Oh wait, no, we can't use tonal correction on the eyes. On the eyes, I think we can actually get away with a color dodge. I think, I believe, I don't know. If we can do it, holy moly! Clipping mask, color dodging time. Just like Ross likes to do a lot. Ooh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ross may be cooking. Yeah, that's a better color than the one we had earlier. Okay, now that we have that, now that we have everything here, the only thing we need to do now is we need to add the color of the scales, which I already know what color it is. Grab the brightest hue you can, and let me just do this. Once you go on scales, I'm just gonna place here scale color. Scale color. And on the line art, I just select where the scales are gonna be. It's really not that hard. And with the brush, you obviously just place a color that you want. And then with the same old, with the soft brush, that's where you're going to delete the parts you don't want. And that's how you get the color you want for the scales. Even though the scales look kind of different though. And that is because I added 2 types of scales. That's the reason as to why they look like that. So there was the first layer, and then there was a second layer. It was like a violet. It was like a sort of a violet layer. So we're gonna name this scale color 2. And I just remember it was not this color. It was actually pink, like a magenta pink. There it is. Because it wasn't multiply. It wasn't add either, but it was under it. There we go. Now we finally have her scales. And now that we have that, there is only one more thing to do, and that is to apply the last of the things that we're missing. First and foremost, I need a bigger brush for this. Tonal correction, level correction. I think I'll select red for this one. And because we selected red, that means that we can actually select other stuff for the red. You guys are gonna be up. You guys are gonna see why. So we're still not done with the artwork, mind you. We are far from done with the artwork. Because now what we gotta do is turn all of this off. All of this that we have, turn all of this off. Well, except for the grayscale, obviously, and the line art. Because we're gonna be doing some voodoo magic, and that voodoo magic is called sharper lines so that our artwork can seem to have more volume. So what you do is you grab a thicker brush, and on that thicker brush, what you're gonna do is you're going to make the some of the line art that you've done. You're gonna make it thicker like this, so that it has more volume. See how it starts to have more volume than last time? This is extremely important. That way you can separate some line art from the other line art so that you can see which ones are by far the ones that are gonna grab the most attention of every single line art. And you want them to be facing at the direction where you want the line art to be covering something most of the time. Sometimes, an example will be this one. So what you're doing is you're just following the line that you just did in order for it to have more volume. That's what you're doing pretty much. For example, this necklace here. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just adding all of this to the art. There we go. And you want to emphasize some of the parts that are behind the hair. Sometimes when you're drawing hair, you can have it hair like this, so that you know it's on top. Something like this. Kind of like so that the hair has volume. So that people know, oh, the hair has volume. So that's what's behind the hair, pretty much. You can do the same with accessories too. For example, these accessories right here. Or if you want something to be behind something, like so. There we go. So now that we have the line art, well, pretty much the line art, because we already have everything we need. We already put some volume on the art itself. All of this, we already put the volume on. Now that we have the volume, this is our line art. This is our improved line art. Now, oh wait, hold on. Almost forgot something. There we go. And now we really have our line art. That's how our line art looks like. And then when you place everything back, it looks even more dynamic than last time because of the extra line art that we applied. Although I do want to apply one more thing before we continue. I'll do it later. Then I'm gonna place everything back how it was because I still have some more stuff to place. Now we're gonna place some shadows. We don't need to place shadows anywhere else. I think we're fine. So we're gonna place shadows here. And we're gonna select this as a multiply layer. We're gonna select gray, same as always. What the hell's the line art? There it is. We're gonna delete everything that has to do. There we go. Although we don't really need to do that yet. We can turn this shit off. So now, what I really do like to do is I'm gonna turn on the layer. I'm gonna make an add layer, mind you. And we're gonna select the color red. Maybe it's not add what we're looking for. I think it's another color. Yeah, it's another color. It's definitely not add. I think it was color dodge, the one we were looking for. Definitely color dodge. It was definitely color dodge. But so that the artwork doesn't look messy like this, you guys always know what to you guys already know what to do. Go to clipping mask. But for the color dodge, since you cannot use clipping mask pretty much, that means we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way, meaning that we're gonna have to select the entirety of the grayscale and select it from the outside. Actually, no, you don't have to select it from the outside. You can just add here. Huh. Doesn't seem to be working. It's because I have the... Oh, it's because of the clipping mask. Okay. Yeah, it was a clipping mask. Because now I can just do this. Whoops, move everything. Okay, there we go. And you can also apply the clipping mask on other layers too, if you want. Sometimes, let's see, line art. I think I want to apply the clipping mask literally on the unset line art. So let me do just that. This was color dodge, by the way. So maybe you want to select line art, clipping mask that, and paint everything red. Okay, that looks really good. Okay. And then you select everything pretty much on the line art. Selected it on the wrong layer, that's fine. The scales layer, you could also do it there. But you don't necessarily have to do it. I'm doing it here so that it looks so that you guys can understand what I'm doing. But I can do it on a clipping mask though. And now we can add the shadow layers. And then we're going to delete these ones. The shadow. Wait, no, that's the wrong layer. Now we're gonna go to the shadow layers. DJ, you don't have to stop. And there are some parts that we're still missing, so we're gonna name these shadows 2. Still a multiply layer, by the way. We're almost done, in case you guys are wondering. And this is where I place all of the anime-ish type of shadows on the artwork. Literally all of it. There we go. And we're almost done. All right, chat. There we go. We did it. That is the artwork that we did today. What we did is we applied everything that we learned from these two tutorials and applied it here. Look at that. Let me take the reference away. There we go. We did it, chat. There we go. We did the artwork finally. I would say it could have been better, but I am improving quite a lot though. We just add more shadows here. There we go. And now we're really done. Let me just place the logo real quick. Let me open up another file that I have that has the logo. I had this one before. And I'm going to select the logo. What the fuck? Where's the logo? It's not layer 2, that's for sure. It's around here somewhere. The oh, logo copy. Okay, there it is. So small. Okay, there we go. We finally have the artwork and all of the tutorial that I did, all of the tutorials that I had to follow in order to make this artwork. We did it, chat. We finally did it. And we're finally gonna save this. And we're gonna save it also as a PNG because I am going to post this on Twitter. Gotta say, chat, I think my art is improving little by little. I really like how this artwork turned out. Like the details that I added and all of the other stuff. It's pretty fucking good, but I feel it could be better. Like I'm still, you could say, in the learning process, but you can tell that I'm getting better and better each time. So that will be it for tonight, chat. And before we end the stream, let's see who can we raid tonight. Which one of you a-holes is raidable? I'm kidding, none of them is an a-hole. Would you look at that? We actually have a raidable channel. We're going to be raiding Point. Do show her some love. And I will see you guys on Monday in order to keep playing more Claire Obscure. Also, I will post this on Twitter. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye!